Hey, what's up? Steve DeCasa here with today's live stream nugget. Today I'm going to explain what a speed ramp is, and I'm going to show you how it's done. As a bonus, I'm also going to show you how to convert footage from 60 frames a second to 24 frames a second so that it plays back slow-mo in a 24 frames per second timeline. That's a little bonus to help you out while you're looking to do speed ramps. Just so you know, this clip is coming from a live stream I did just hours ago. This is just a little bit of knowledge from that live stream to show you what speed ramps are. I'll tell you more about the live stream after the nugget. Let's get into it. What is speed ramping? So a speed ramp is when inside your clip is going one speed, let's say 100% normal speed, and then there is a point at which the speed changes from one parameter to another parameter. So you might go from 100% speed, normal speed, and you might want to ramp to 200%, to twice as fast. Now, you could just put the two clips together and have it just be instantaneous change, but the ramp implies that there is a change over time from 100 to 200%. The ramping is the sort of animation of the speed going from 100 to 200, going from one keyframe to the other. So how does one do this? Well, right now I have a timeline that is 4K timeline, and this footage right here is 60 frames per second. Now the timeline I'm in is a 24 frames per second timeline. So what I could do is I could actually change the clip to be slow-mo. And so I'm going to give you sort of like a two birds, one stone situation. Now also, by the way, killing two birds with one stone is not nice to the birds. So let's just say we're going to feed two birds with one scone, okay? Let's change the phrase. So I'm going to feed two birds with one scone right here. I'm going to show you speed ramping, but I'm also going to show you how to make a 60 frames per second clip slow-mo. So you can see, I dropped this clip in the timeline. You can hear me say like, "Hey, you ready?" Okay, I'm rolling. Whenever you're ready. It's a 60 frames per second clip. It's in a 24 frames per second timeline, and it's going at regular speed, 100% speed. I could just slow it down in the timeline here. And the way you do that is you can right-click on it, you can do speed, and there's like an equation. So you take the frame rate that your timeline is in, it's 24 frames per second, you times it by 100, so you get that, and then you divide it by the frame rate that your clip is, and you get 40. So what I want to do is I want to change this now to 40%. So now the clip is a 60 frames per second clip in a 24 frames per second timeline is 40% slower. So you can see, watch. So that's one way you could slow down the clip to make it slow-mo. But there's another way to do it that I find is actually easier to do. And what you can do is, now you notice, you can see here, it says frame rate. And it says that the other ones in this bin are 23.976, but this one is 60, 59.94. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click. I'm going to go to Modify, Interpret Footage. The dialog box came up here. So here's the Interpret Footage dialog. So what you can do is you can basically change the frame rate. You just tell the computer what frame rate it is. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to say it's 23.976. And I'm going to go OK. So if I drop it back into the timeline, look, it's super long now. And as you can see and hear, it's slow-mo. See that? But there's no animation on it, which is really cool. So that's one bird that we just fed with half of this scone. So the other part now is the actual speed ramping. So if I wanted to speed this up, I think it's 250%, right? So if I speed this up to 250, now we're back. Yeah. Well, anyway, 250. So now I know regular speed is 250. So what if we want to speed ramp from slow-mo, speed up to regular mo, and then back to slow-mo? First thing we want to do is, here's the clip's in the timeline. You want to make it fat. You want to make the clip fat. So you come over to the side here, and you drag this up. You should drag it so that you can see this little keyframe button. Next thing you want to do is you want to right-click on the clip, go to Show Clip Keyframes. I'll move over so you can see. You want to right-click on the clip, go to Show Clip Keyframes, go to Time Remapping, and Speed. So what that did was, whereas before, like over in this clip, it has this little white bar that you can move up and down. Beforehand, that's just opacity. You can see the clip is getting more and more transparent the more I change this. But over here, that white bar is now the speed. So if I were to move this, you see the speed changes. Obviously, if I change the speed, the clip gets shorter because it is getting faster. What we want to do now is to do the speed ramp, is we want to pick the point at which the speed changes. So let's watch the clip. This actually could all be regular speed, let's say. We're going to make it all. So, let's do that. Let's change all of this. We'll go up to 250. We'll delete the audio for now. So now we're going regular speed. And then maybe, let's see. When do I want it to... that. Okay, so let's say when her hands come up and hit her face. Let's say when her hands hit her face is when we want it to start going to slow-mo. So now we can either hit the P tool and click right here to make a keyframe, or we can come over here to this and hit add or remove keyframe where the cursor is. So let's do that. So it just made the keyframe. It's hard to see. It's this little thing up here. Now there's the keyframe. Now what we can do is there's literally like a cut. On this side of the keyframe, it's going to be one speed, and on this side of the keyframe is going to be a different speed. So we can take this and we can drag it right back down to 100%, which is the slow-mo. So watch. And when her hands go up, it will start going slow-mo. Right there. Now, but you can see there is no ramp. It just suddenly changes from regular speed to slow-mo. Let's see it again. Right? So let's actually find a place as well that we want it to go back to regular mo. Regular mo, slow-mo, and then right about there when her elbows start to come down, that's where we'll do another one. P, do that. We'll go back, hit the A button to go back, and then we'll go back up to 250 to go regular mo. So here is we're almost there. We've done no speed ramping yet. And that could work. There's no technical ramp, but some might call this a ramp. It's just like an instantaneous ramp. So the ramp is very steep, we shall say. But technically, this kind of is a speed ramp. It's just a very, very quick speed ramp. Bring this up for you so you can see it better. But now what we can do to actually affect the ramp, if you can see, there's two little tabs on the side of this keyframe. And once your arrow changes to left or right, you can click and pull one of those tabs, and you can see the change. So we're going to be going from 250% speed to slow-mo to 100% speed in how many frames is this? Almost a second. Let's make it half a second. 12 frames in 24 frames per second is a half of a second because it's half as many frames. And we'll do the same thing over... Actually, and we'll do a different one. We'll do full, so that should be a full second. There's this thing here. This kind of controls, like, the way it speed ramps, but, like, I'm not going to mess with that. But let's see what that looks like. A little bit smoother. It's just a little bit smoother. So there's the speed ramp, and you really can get crazy. So I can take this, and I can... See, I can turn it. So, yeah, it's a different way. It's a different curve. I mean, it's very subtle, at least in my opinion. So we can do sort of a linear curve, or we can do more of a sweeping kind of a curve. So that's pretty cool. There you go. Nice. There you go. I hope it helped. You know, if you look up other tutorials online about what speed ramps are, you're going to get very well-produced things. You're going to get very shiny-looking things. And for some people, that can help. A nice, quick, short video to explain what's going on can definitely help a lot of people. But I'm hoping this format, where I really get into depth with things and kind of talk things out and explain things on the fly, I think that type of video can actually help a lot of other people who want to kind of understand a little bit more what's going on, rather than just seeing like a flashy, quick 3-minute video. So if you're still here watching, I really appreciate that. If that's the way you learn, then you might want to check out my live streams every Monday and Wednesday at 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I edit projects in Premiere, answering questions that I get from the chat. If that's something that might help you out, come into the live stream, chat with me. Be awesome. If you haven't noticed already, you can check out the full replay of the stream over at youtube.com/rethinkfilms, which is my production company. And hey, if you're watching this on YouTube, but you're actually more of a Twitch person, we're on Twitch too. I simultaneously cast the live stream on Twitch as well as Dacasa Film. Just go over to twitch.tv/rethinkfilms every Monday and Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if this was helpful to you, please consider subscribing to Dakasa Film or following on twitch.tv/rethinkfilms. And if you want to go even further, come into the live streams. Chat with me. That would be awesome. I hope to see you there. But until then, happy filmmaking. Peace.